This is my brother's cat, so my nephew. My cat nephew, I have a human one now. But you're such a good boy. It's the longest he's ever let me hold him. Hi, my name is Shauna, in case you don't know, and I don't know what I'm filming today, so let me figure this out for a second. Okay, so today I'm going to be doing the book buying book tag. I am in a different room than normal today because my dog had a panic attack, so that's really fun. So I had to bring her up here and I'm hanging out with her. So the book buying book tag was created by Megan Olivier. It's like Oliver, but with an extra I between the V and the E. Anyways, there's 13 questions. Let's do this. Number 1, where do you buy your books from? Please do not judge me. I'm trying to get away from Amazon, but I do use Amazon quite a bit. It's just quick. It's the cheapest option. I don't work, so I'm like, I need to buy cheaper books. I know I need to stop using Amazon. I'm trying. I really am. I also use Pal's Books a lot. Pal's Books is the local bookstore near me. Well, there's like 2 major locations, one in my city, one in the city next to me. So yeah, I go to Pal's quite a bit, and I buy books from Barnes & Noble, which I have the membership to Barnes & Noble, so it's like 10% off or whatever whenever I buy books from there. And then I also buy books from an assortment of independent bookstores. Most of these I do when I'm on vacation, but when I'm not on vacation, I've been trying to like order off of independent bookstores more as opposed to buying off Amazon. I don't really remember that many of the independent bookstores that I've ordered off of online. The only one that I can think of off the top of my head is Books and Crannies, I think. Number 2, do you ever pre-order books? And if so, do you do this in store or online? Yes, I do. I don't know how to pre-order books in store, so I do it online. I do not pre-order books often, but if it's like one of my favorite authors, then I'll pre-order it, or if it's the next in a series, then I'll pre-order it. I just feel like pre-ordering is a great way to support authors, so that's why I do it sometimes. And sometimes you get pre-order incentives, which are sort of fun. On average, how many books do you buy a month? Honestly, I'm not really sure. During COVID lockdowns, I'm probably buying less than normal because I'm not leaving the house as often. But yeah, I would think that like 3 to 10 a month is how much I buy. Sometimes less, sometimes more. On my birthday and Christmas, I generally buy like way more than that. Number 4, do you use your local library? I used to use it for summer reading, and that was it. But now I'm too old for the summer reading, and there's just like 2 major issues with using the library. They put a time constraint on the books, like you have 2 weeks to read them or whatever. And when I put time constraints on myself when I'm reading books, it often causes me to get into reading slumps. And the other issue is that there's some people that I'd rather avoid in my city that sometimes go to the library, so yeah, if I can avoid those people at all costs, I will do that. So it would be nice if I could use the library more, but unfortunately it just doesn't work out for me. But I do support my library, and I think that it's really important. I used to use it all the time when I was a kid, so I think we need to still fund libraries. I just haven't been using them recently. And number 5 had to do with number 4. It said, if so, how many books can you / do you borrow at a time? It's not really relevant for right now, but when I did go to the library, I would get up to like 10 manga at a time and like 2 or 3 normal books, and I could generally finish that in like 2 weeks. And that was before I like had the whole reading slump issue when there was time constraints. Number 6, what is your opinion on library books? I don't really mind library books. My only 2 issues with library books is if I'm keeping them like I bought them and they were discarded. I have an issue where Thrift Books, which is a common site that people use, it doesn't tell me whether it's a library book or not when I order it online, and that really frustrates me because I'm like, I would be fine ordering this book if you had told me beforehand about the condition of the book, but they never fully tell you the condition of the book when you buy it. And then my issue with like library books when I like would borrow them from the library is I show my books often in TikTok videos and YouTube videos, and then everybody would see my county. And I don't know why, but like having someone see my county feels so much more like personal to put online than like say my city or my state, and I don't really feel comfortable with people knowing my county, so if I were to check out a library book, I couldn't like show it in a video. So what I'm trying to say is I wish that the barcodes from the library books would be on the back of the book instead of the front of the book, because that would solve this issue for me. But it's totally just like my issue. Like other people totally show library books all the time and they're fine. I'm just like slightly paranoid. Also, if you see my face looking weird, it's because I keep yawning and then I have to wipe the tears away because I cry when I yawn. Jeez, I'm so tired today. I don't even know why. I slept for like 10 and a half hours last night, so I don't know why I'm tired. Number 7, how do you feel about charity shop / secondhand books? I love secondhand books. I mean, there is something special about getting a brand new book, but when it's like already cracked and already has some damage, so first of all it like flips open easier, and then you feel less bad about like damaging the book because it's already like slightly damaged. So like when I have a brand new book, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have not cracked the spine, I have to keep it very safe and careful with it. And then when I get a secondhand book, I'm like, this is so nice, I don't have to stress about keeping it perfect. It cracks open so nicely, it smells like old books, it's so nice. So I really love secondhand books. If I could get every book secondhand, I honestly would, but because I sometimes buy new releases, and because secondhand bookstores don't necessarily have every book that I want, I do have to buy new books quite a bit. But if I could, I would buy all used books because I love them. Number 8, do you keep your read and TBR pile together / on the same shelf or not? No, I used to do that, but then I was getting confused because I was like, which books have I read already, which books have I not? And like whenever I finished a book off of my TBR, I'd have to like reorganize like my entire shelf. And now whenever I finish a book on my TBR, I can just take it from the TBR shelf where I finished it and just put it on the other shelf for my read books. And whenever I buy a new book, I don't have to rearrange my whole bookshelf necessarily. Like I don't have to worry about rearranging my read books. I just shove it in with my TBR shelf. So it works better for me that way, but like it's totally fine either way. I feel like it would be more aesthetically pleasing to have them in the same bookshelf, but for me it's just an easier system to have them separate. Number 9, do you plan to read all of the books that you own? Yes, that is one of my life goals. I don't know if I'll ever do it because I think I have like over 500 books. I feel like I should count someday, but I haven't counted them yet. And I don't know if I'll ever get around to reading them all, but I do hope I can because it's just been my life goal since I was like really young to do that. Number 10, what do you do with books that you own that you feel you will never read / felt you did not enjoy? So I personally keep a lot of my books, but if a book is under 3 stars, or if it's 3 stars and I felt like it was leaning on 2 stars and it's not part of like a series and it's not by a popular author, then I'll get rid of the book. And the way that I get rid of a book is I oftentimes try to sell them to Pals Books because Pals Books is a new and used bookstore and I can earn some money that way. However, Pals has not been accepting books during COVID, and because it's not been accepting books during COVID, I've been putting a lot of books that I get rid of during COVID times in, what are they called? They're called tiny libraries. They're the little like boxes that you'll see in a neighborhood where people put in books and you just put in one, take one out. So I put my books in there a lot, and sometimes I also give my books to a charity shop that supports the library. And I just call it the library bookstore, but that's literally not its name. Number 11, have you ever donated books? Yes, I have. I just talked about that. Number 12, have you ever been on a book buying ban? I have tried to be on book buying bans, but they're never successful because I'm addicted to buying books. I've heard this talked about before and it's so true, but buying books is a different hobby than reading books. Just think about it. It is. Like sometimes if I'm in a reading slump for like 3 months, I'll still buy like 10 books every month and I won't read any books in those months. So it's like, it's 2 separate hobbies, okay? I'm like a collector, but I'm also a reader, but those 2 hobbies are not the same thing. And question number 13, do you feel that you buy too many books? Obviously, yes. I feel like everyone who is a reader buys too many books. I wish I could be one of those people who's like very cautious about which new books they buy and whatnot, but I'm not. I'm really not. And when I do go on book buying bans, I'm spending so much time on like the Kindle store and the Nook store and the iBook store, and I'm just downloading all the free books that I find, or like if I'm on a book buying ban, I'll also go and request a ton of books on NetGalley, and it's such a mess. Also, speaking of like NetGalley, you want to know how much this issue is with like requesting books on NetGalley whenever I'm on a book buying ban. So last time I went on a book buying ban, I requested a bunch of ARCs and I got accepted for a ton of them. So let's see how many I currently have to review of NetGalley because of my last book buying ban. Gear Breakers, Cheer Up, Call Me Athena, Girl from Detroit, Me Moth, Why Can't Relationships Be Like Pizza, The Lofties, Jin, The Acceptance, Dorothy in the Land of Monsters, Manga Classics, Jane Eyre, May the Best Man Win, Apocalypse 7, The Sea Assault and So Am I, Never Say Never. I have 13 books left to review on NetGalley, and that doesn't even include the ARCs that I've gotten from giveaways and the ARC that I got from an author directly through their newsletter. So I have a problem. Book buying bans are never successful because I'm like, if it's free, I'm not technically paying for it. I'm such a mess. So anyways, this was the book buying book tag. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to me if you haven't already. If you would like to do this tag, feel free to consider yourself tagged. All of the tag questions will be linked down in the description below, along with the tag creator and all of the links to all of my other social media. I upload book-related videos every Tuesday, so I hope to see you next Tuesday for another book video. Till next time, goodbye!
Password has changed. To update your Wi-Fi information, go to the Alexa app.
That was weird.